Right, everybody's been asking where am I? What have I been up to? Got a few friends asking me if I've finished stuff yet. No, I haven't, but that's because I stopped, and I'll get back to it soon. I've been doing stuff for myself at the minute. I've got a family life, and I've got my work, and I've got this and that. Various things I'm still trying to catch up on. Been doing lately, I've been building myself a few kits. I ordered these just before Christmas presents. They came from China, so they arrived at the end of January. I've got them all done now. I've got an end tester here, then I've got another version of an end tester here. This one was I had to build the box for, and this one I had to build the kit. A lot of miniature oscilloscope there, I had to build the kit for that. They all work. They're just handy wee things for me to keep practicing my soldering. Even if you've been doing soldering for many years, you still need to practice. This followed me home in August, and I haven't even got around to restoring it yet. I mean, the most I've done is tape the lamps back up. I haven't even had a chance to do any work to that at all. Might be building this at some point in the night if I get time. I was supposed to be going out to an arcade today, but that hasn't happened, so I'll do that instead. I've got a replacement laptop from the one I had from a programmer. It's all smashed up. We'll get around to that at some point. What I want to show off today is a couple of vintage computers. This is the BBC Micro. I've had it for about 20 years. I got it way back in the early 2000s. All fully works. And I played games on it. I had the Gotek for it, still with the Gotek, but just before Christmas I acquired this. Now this is my holy grail of vintage computers. This is the BBC Master. I learned to use this and this at school. Yeah. Don't mind me. Oh, there we go. As you can see, it's working fine. I've got airwolf flooded on in a minute through my Gotek there. When I got this, it was in some state. It was a mess. Half of the keyboard didn't work. The keyboard was absolutely filthy. I stripped it all down. I've cleaned all the keyboard up, sorted all the switches by pressing them 1,000 times over. I mean, it's weird. That's how you fix most of these switches. They get gunked up inside and you press them thousands of times and it clears all the crap off the pins. You can dismantle them, but I wasn't going to do that. I've updated it with a new battery and a multi-OS kit from Retro Clinic. Retro Clinic are the go-to place for vintage parts, especially with these old BBC Micros and Masters. It's an excellent go-to shop for spares and kits. Can't recommend them enough. Let's just break out of this. I'm running this in the BBC B Plus mode at the minute, but it can do BBC B. I think it can do Model A as well, and it can do the Master. And it's just a one-stop shop for me. I'm trying to decide at the minute which one to run. This one looks more vintagey, if you know what I mean. It looks more old-fashioned. I mean, that one just looks like a standard computer, but this one I've spent money on. I've got all the kit in it. And I've just been exploring that a bit. I mean, I've got the basic editor and graphics extension ROMs in this one and a couple of other things as well. The kit comes with the basic editor and I've added the graphics extension ROM to it. I downloaded it off stardot.com. And I've also got the basic editor and graphics extension ROM in this. But I think we'll stick with this one for the minute. I'm just exploring it. Just getting to know it again. I used to use these at school. I learned to code BBC Basic on these at school. They're fantastic machines, but the problem with them was, especially the Master, is really expensive. So you never saw it in the home. I mean, the ZX Spectrums and Commodore 64s kicked the arse off it, which is a shame, because it's a fantastic computer to use. But I've got the tape and the disk drive and everything for this, but you don't need a tape deck or a disk drive. You don't even need a Gotek for these. But I want to show you something. There's a fantastic website called PlayUEF, and all you need is that website and a phone. What PlayUEF got is they've got the audio files of all the tapes. It's like MAME for the BBC. Let me see, yeah, what's that's one, an interesting one there. Let's load that. Right, so get it into tape mode. And then I can still remember all the commands from many years ago. Start that up. Now we go loading through. The phone is with the tape deck. So obviously when you have to be patient when you're loading off tape. So I'll bring you back. There we go. Space Invaders loaded off a tape. Now yeah, the graphics look a bit naff for this day and age, but you've got to remember this software came out in 1982. This computer came out in 86. This one actually came out in 81. They came out as a TV series, wasn't it? It was a computer. Someone BBC called the Computer Literacy Project, and they came out with a whole range of TV episodes to do with the introduction to microcomputer, etc. But the BBC teamed up with schools to get these into schools. In the 90s, you had Computer for Schools, which was organised by Tesco, etc. You had Acorn Archimedes machines going into schools, but before that, the aim in Britain was to get children into learning about computers and coding and IT, whatever. So these were everywhere in schools. Not so much the master. You usually see the master in like the computer room attached to the server room, but these were everywhere in schools. And so when I was in high school especially, I learned to code BBC Basic. But I'd always wanted one of these. I'd always wanted the master, but for years there, the masters were £500, £600. I was lucky enough to find this one. And yeah, the only thing it gets me about BBC's is I think they missed a bit of a trick with the games. They tried to be too colourful, because I don't know why they didn't go down. I mean, I think it was because they were in schools, they were colourful educational games, but I think if they had a bit more time and a bit more exposure to the domestic market, the games could have been a lot better, because it's a fast processor and they use fast memory in these. So I don't know why they didn't go down the ZX Spectrum route, where you just use one or two colours and then have really good graphics. I'm going to have a go at some point myself, just seeing what the graphics are capable of. If I exit out this, I'll show you what I mean. Let me find it. Yeah. I need to find it, hold on. Let's load another one. I mean, yeah, ignore this bar at the bottom here. Obviously, the BBC was never intended to be used with an LCD, but what I've done is I've just used one of those arcade upscaler things, and I made my own cable for it. A couple of resistors and a bit of heat shrink. Does the job. It's not perfect. The video memory is good enough. Good enough for me, but other people will complain about it, but I'm not. I love it. I love the imperfections of it. It doesn't bother me one bit. I'm not paying the £70 for an HDMI converter that claims to run these. Right, hold on. If I had a tape deck, you would hear all the audio of the data being loaded up. Wait a minute, ooh. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Screen adjustment. Let's just return. Right. I'm actually loading up Astro Blaster here. Not sure what it looks like in the BBC Micro though. It won't look like the arcade version, that's for sure. I could show the arcade version off in this. I've got MAME on my tower, but that's the other reason why I wanted the LCD. This, using the VGA with this and the HDMI with the tower, it's just like my project area. I've got my iron and everything here. This is my space. It was the dining area, but nobody ever sat here, so until such times as we want the dining area back, this is my space. Have to be patient with loading for tape, it can take a while. There we go. Astro Blaster. And it looks nothing like the arcade version. I can't remember what the controls were. Never mind. It more looks a bit like Galaxy. Anyways, escape out of that. Just show you the... I'll show you the Gotek here working the disk drive. Does anybody who used these still remember how you auto boot the disk? Yeah, just shift break. Now there's a perfect example of what I mean by the graphics. This is one of the games that was made for the domestic market, and it does use the full extent of the graphics. See? Actually looks really nice. So F0, run the game. Yeah, use your sideways RAM. Yeah, because we're in BBC B plus mode. See what I mean? This computer's got a 6845 in it, so it's capable of some pretty snazzy graphics. But all the games you ever see for it, apart from one or two, don't use that. And really, there was never really a lot of domestic software made for this, because it was almost used in schools and colleges. Yeah. So... You're done. Yep, hold on. It doesn't always like running XL and sideways RAM. There we are, I'm back. Right, so people might be asking, why on earth have I got this set up in 2024? Well, there's one reason. It's all very well using emulators, etc. But it's all very well using emulators. I mean, I've got BBM emulator on the tower there. Nothing beats, absolutely nothing beats using original hardware that still works. Nothing beats it. You can use emulators all you like and do all your different coding, but emulators have workarounds. They have shortcuts to get stuff working that shouldn't normally work. I've got the basic editor on here, and if I'm going to code for this, I'm going to code on the original keyboard. The keyboard feels beautiful to type on. I just like the environment. I like the authentic, proper, vintage feel of it. Yeah, it's great. I could code. I've got Dart Basic on that. I've got BBC Basic. There's Python. There's C++. Nothing beats sitting at the original thing. Original hardware. Original keyboard. Original limitations. Original lack of memory. And learning how to properly use it. Without it doing some of the stuff for you, without the shortcut. Learn how to use the real thing. Nothing beats that. And I always say that. I said way back at the start of the video, I'm trying to decide which one to use. I've got this one, and I've got that one. That one's more powerful, this one's more vintage. I'll not be getting rid of either of them. They are beautiful. And you just don't get that. You don't get anything like this, anything remotely like this in schools anymore. This was the golden age of learning how to do computers in schools. Learning something as simple as how to make a beep. Even though it says invalid command, it still recognised it. Yeah, I have to type exit to get out of this. Nothing beats it. Obviously this isn't going to run, but it's just a load of text, but it's just lovely. Let me select the game here. Eject menus. Should notice this other. Doctor Who of some description. Yeah, the Gotek makes life easy for you as well, because you've got blank discs, images loaded to it as well as all the software you'll ever need. But honestly, if you want to learn coding, get a Commodore 64, get a ZX Spectrum. Don't do it with an emulator. Not in 2024. Learn. If you're going to do corporate software, learn C or programming to chips. Learn C++ and then get Atmel Studio. But if you just want to learn basic, use one of these or get the Argon Lite, I think it's called. There's actually new computers coming out that use BBC Basic. Use the real thing. Anyways, I promise you guys I will get back to something Fruit Machine related at some point. I'm going to do that pick programmer today, probably just for something to do, because there's nothing more I love than sit down tinkering with something. I'm going to make a decision on which one of these two I'm going to run. I may show some stuff on this one later on today. It's just a case of moving the cables from there to there. But yeah, feel free to comment, feel free to complain. Any criticism is good criticism. If you like my videos, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications of any new videos that I do. Sorry there hasn't been one for a few weeks. I was actually bogged down a wee bit with that SRU thing as well, as you saw in the previous video. But yeah. And I will see you later.